Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Patricia Kalinicki, and I've been teaching for 16 years, with 12 of those years teaching secondary mathematics. I teach an elementary math methods course here at LIU. I teach a secondary math seminar course at St. Joseph's College and a special ed course on psychoeducational assessment online with Empire State University. My current job title is Special Education and Mathematics Teacher, and I currently teach both 9th grade self-contained algebra and 12th grade college algebra. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm hoping to share some of my answers to your questions via pre-recorded video today. So it says, what are some rewards and challenges you've experienced while teaching math? So about 90% of the time when you tell someone that you're a math teacher, they usually cringe and say something like, ugh, I always hated math. Now, while that might maintain really good job security, I wanted to set that as a goal for my students to really see the joy in math. My job is to build a comfortable classroom culture to allow me to get to know them as people and as students, but also for them to unlearn some of the very common misconceptions about learning math. The challenges of teaching math really include building up a student's confidence in learning math, teaching them that making mistakes is part of the process, and figuring out and struggling through it are also things that real problem solvers do every day. The best reward for that usually is seeing students engaged in math talks with like a classmate, earning a grade that they or their parents never believed that they could, which really just shows me that they really understood a concept, and of course that always enjoyable aha moment. Okay, next question says, what concepts in math are particularly difficult for students to grasp? If you teach math concepts in isolation, everything can be particularly challenging for students to grasp. But if you apply math skills to real-world concepts, then students both understand it more deeply, but also see how math is connected and relevant to their lives. Like, how do sports connect with probability, or algebra connect with online shopping? How do ratios apply to cooking, or geometry relate to interior design? Using open-ended assignments and a mix of project-based learning allows students to see that math is not always such a neat problem with all the key numbers listed and the solution magically works out to be a whole number. I know for my students, something like algebra is such a disconnected topic from their lives. But once we talk about shipping fees with an online order, they are suddenly able to solve a two-step equation without ever knowing what algebra is. So starting with a real-world problem and then bringing in the math is a good strategy for developing deep conceptual understanding. Okay, final question, how can teachers help students apply math to everyday life and overcome the fear of math? So fear of math, I believe, is really rooted in a closed mindset. One of the best books I've read was actually Mindset by Carol Dweck, which allowed me to reflect on my own beliefs and how those translated to my students. Additionally, a book called Mathematical Mindsets by Dr. Joe Bowler, I dug these out, was another great one, specifically focused on math educators. Our jobs as educators is not just to teach math, but to teach problem solving, overcoming obstacles, learning how to persevere. That's what we need to teach, and in turn, that's what math teaches us. I think to begin to do that in your classroom requires a lot of team building and developing a class culture that allows for mistakes, celebrating differences, and embracing the various paths that math take us on in order to solve a problem. Starting there and then moving on to utilizing protocols such as Peter Liljedahl's research using vertical non-permanent surfaces, a really fancy word for whiteboards, and visually random groups. Also using good questioning and having discussions that engage students in thinking and problem solving will also allow you as the teacher to understand their math knowledge and allow you to guide them to higher levels of thinking. One final strategy that I really believe has been left out of the conversation pretty often is grading policies. As educators, what we grade and how students demonstrate understanding can be very stressful. Using strategies like standards-based grading, multiple formative assessments, allowing for retakes, and promoting grading policies in our districts and our schools that allow for growth of learning. These won't inhibit students from continuing to learn after a topic is done and a test is given. So I think those are some strategies to start with. Again, here are the book titles that I mentioned in some of my responses. I'm currently reading Liljedahl's book, so it's currently in my classroom at school, but I wanted to thank you all for listening and for inviting me to speak today. If you have any questions or you want to reach out, I'm always going to promote professional development and continuing to learn as a student. It's something that I wish for all of my students, so that's through Twitter. You can reach out to me at Dr. K. Nicki, and I just wanted to thank you all again. Have a great day.